Welcome back. The topic of our video for today is perfectionism. And my favorite resource for that is a book that's been out for a very long time by Miriam Adderholt Elliott called What's Bad About Being Too Good? Perfectionists fear public embarrassment. By public, I mean that anybody else will notice that they're not easily perfect. And it runs their life. When they grow into adults and their perfectionism has been unresolved, they turn into another character that's also labeled by a word that starts with P, and that is procrastinator. So people who never figured out this perfectionism thing grow up with the desire to never start anything until they're certain it will turn out perfectly. And that is a relationship breaker because this is a very difficult thing to live with. One of the dead giveaways about a perfectionist is these people prepare forever before they start the job. They want to be sure that they have everything they need and that everything's in perfect order, and sometimes the preparation takes longer than the project was supposed to take. And what's going on in their head is, since I probably can't do this perfectly well, I perhaps don't even want to try it. Because if I'm not certain that the thing will turn out excellently and heap lots of praise on me, I just don't think I want to start. So this is a very interesting characteristic and very difficult to deal with. What they often believe is that what they do is more important than who they are. And that's caused by comments from teachers, parents, and other people in their lives. It starts often very early on in their life. Let's say the family has invited out-of-town relatives for Thanksgiving. 4-year-old Jason is very precocious in terms of knowing multiplication tables up to and including who knows what. And in the middle of dinner, Mom says to Jason, "Honey, tell Grandma your 9s. I don't want to. "Oh, come on. She came all this way to see you, and I'd like her to know how well you know your 9 times table." "Mom, I don't want to." And then Grandma chimes in, "Come on, honey, just let me know it." When this thing happens over and over again, they conclude, because they don't have any conflicting information, they conclude that they're more value for what they know than who they are. And that means they have to be so attached to making sure that everybody knows how much they know that's right that it runs their lives. They set impossible goals for themselves. What do you want to do once you get out of school? "I'm going to be a rock star." Okay, do you know what the steps are between the time you decide that and the time you actually accomplish that? No, I don't have to follow the steps. I'll do it my way. Many of these people and these kids suffer from something that I think is fascinating called the Impostor Syndrome. And that is, if I have been asked, or if I've said I'm going to do something that I'm not convinced up front that I can do perfectly, I'm going to worry about what happens when people find out I am an imposter. I look like someone who can do everything. I look like someone who knows everything, but I am afraid to put that to the test in this particular task. So that imposter syndrome is connected to their procrastination. As they get older and up in the grades, they often resist challenging work with these kinds of comments. "This is dumb, this is stupid, I don't know why I have to do this." But silently they're thinking, because I'm not sure I can do it perfectly the first time. And so they will resist anything that's truly challenging unless, following the work of Carol Dweck, we have worked on their self-talk in the previous years and up into the future that says, I don't need to be perfect all the time, because then I would never learn anything new, and that would be a tragedy. Sometimes they work so slowly that they can't ever finish the task they're supposed to do. Because by working slowly, they feel there's less chance that they're going to be making serious mistakes. So these are kids who turned in work that isn't even close to being complete. If they discover a mistake in their work, they'll crumple up the paper and throw it away. 2, 3, 5 times. They will not let you see something that they consider not to be perfect. And they are also prone to erasing, if they're doing paper and pencil stuff, to erasing until there's a hole in the paper. Because I can't leave it like that. I can't anybody see that I'm not perfect. Sometimes they're also very neat, but not always. So a perfectionist is expected to have a totally neat room and a totally neat desk and a totally neat everything because he's so careful about always being perfect. But sometimes that's not the case because those things defy logic to them and they're not going to put their energy in those areas. It is impossible for them to take criticism or suggestions because if you criticize even one part of the thing that they are doing, they feel as though you're rejecting the entire product and they will not allow themselves to admit that. Sometimes they just never are finishing because they don't want anybody to see it, which I said earlier. And I have to tell you a story that happened while I was teaching elementary school. A second grade teacher gets a call from a frantic parent at 12:30 at night. And the call wakes the teacher up. And the parent says, "Hello, Miss So-and-so, this is Stacy's mom. Do you know what time it is?" "Yes, I do. But I want to tell you that we've not gone to bed yet, and it's because of the assignment that you gave these kids, and I want you to talk to my daughter and tell her it's okay to stop." And the teacher says, "What assignment?" And the mom says, "Uh-oh, I knew there was a problem." So she puts the kid on the phone, and what had happened was, in the morning, the teacher had given them an activity which she said they would finish in the afternoon, and then she had not given them time to finish it. So the kid was so worried that they would have to turn it in tomorrow without having it finished, she decided that she was not going to go to sleep nor let her family go to sleep until she finished a product that was acceptable to her. This is not healthy thinking. And the secret to solving that issue, in my opinion, is twofold. One, teach these kids how to set and accomplish reasonable short-term goals. And the daily log that appears in most of my books is an outstanding way to do that. And the second suggestion is have them read biographies of people they really admire. It doesn't matter who they are. And the task that you want to give them while they're reading it is please pay special attention to the times when these people that you admire were really in trouble in terms of being successful. What did they do? How did they get past those challenges? And when they realize that the people that they admire, whom they think just kind of shot out of the cosmos one day as being totally successful, when they realize those people have had struggles too and they've had to deal with them, it makes the whole process of turning out a product you're proud of much more doable. So we unwittingly contribute to that as teachers. A typical experience in kindergarten is for the teacher to have taught the kids early on in the year about the three primary colors. And so day 4, they're giving the kids something to draw, and they say, please use only the primary colors. And so as the teacher's circulating, she stops by Roger's desk and she says, "Oh my gosh, Roger, I think that's really nice. Could I borrow it for a moment?" And he reluctantly agrees. And she picks up his paper and she shows it off to the whole class. "Boys and girls, I want you to look at Roger's paper here. I think he's doing a fabulous job because A, he's using only the primary colors as I asked him to, and B, he's staying in the lines. Boy, I think this is lovely. I'm going to put it up here on the bulletin board for us all to admire for the rest of the morning." Now, don't you think Roger should be excited? Happy? Proud? He's scared to death. Perfectionists start every single self-thought with these words: what if? Because even though they've been acknowledged for being perfect, they're instantly afraid of the next step. And so Roger's thinking, well, what if she doesn't put mine up tomorrow? And we all know there's no chance that his paper is going to be selected for tomorrow or his product. But he doesn't know that. So when it is not his paper tomorrow that she praises out loud, he has failed to be easily perfect. And that's why this perfectionism thing is definitely the elephant in the classroom, and sometimes even at home. Parents will tell us that if he has any frustration at all with something he's working on, he immediately loses his temper, throws the stuff across the room and says, I don't want to do this anymore. You can't go through life like that. And so you have to really find ways to apply real life lessons to this. So combination of watching our own language as we talk to our children and getting them into biographies of people they admire really helps. And the idea of in work times at school, having them set 15-minute goals instead of when are you going to finish that, and then record it on a daily log, several of which are available in the books that I've written, and then teach them how to take pride in accomplishing that goal rather than finishing their work. I'd like to end this section by talking about what we should be focusing on rather than perfectionism. And we should be teaching our kids, and sometimes ourselves, that the true behavior that will be helpful in kids' lives in this situation is their willingness to make many trials without blaming themselves for not being able to accomplish the quality of product that they wanted from the very beginning. The person who comes to mind in this context is Thomas Edison, and I'm sure you've all heard the story of how many times his experiment to make a filament glow and produce light failed. The estimates go anywhere from 500 to over 1,000. Never worked, this didn't work, this didn't work, this didn't work. We know a lot of people who will give up and say, I can't do it. Instead, his lab assistants recorded that his response to a failed experiment was always the same. And that is, well, now I know one more time this won't work, and he recorded it. So if we give ourselves a break and we allow ourselves to realize that the perfectionism we seek does not come easily or quickly, so we can help our kids find alternative ways of reacting when their work is not going as smoothly or as beautifully as they would like. For additional information on any of these topics, we always have links that you can follow at the bottom of the video that will take you to my book, to my website, and other helpful resources. Thanks for joining us.